Alright, just going to make a quick program that's going to grab text from two different areas, and it's going to crush it together and chuck it into this label. So first off, a quick review. Remember how to declare a variable. This is going to declare a string variable. And for those of you who don't remember, a string is just a string of characters between two quotes, any key on the keyboard basically, such as please enter your name, full stop, is a string. Name required is a string. In fact, I can make numbers and letters and punctuation all part of a string. Okay? Anyways, so I've created a variable called strInputBox, and this is going to grab string from an input box and store it in the variable we just declared here. And now we just need to display it. Now, just a reminder that whatever's on the left-hand side of the equal sign gets set to whatever is returned from the right-hand side. So, for instance, if I put the, sorry, hang on, let me just quickly go over the names of these things. So, this thing here, this label, is called LBL output. This text box, surprisingly enough, is called TXT input. Right, so what I can now do is set LBL output.text, and I'm going to set that equal to string input box. Okay, so, and all that's going to do is it's going to take whatever is stored in there and throw it in the text property of LBL output. Let's just double check and make sure that it works. When I press on the go button, I'm going to write in my last name, and there it is there. Okay, so that's one way of getting input. Another we can do is we can actually get input from a text box as well as a string, and we do it almost exactly the same way. We say string text. So again, we put in the object we want to store, or the variable that we want to store the value in. And I'm going to say that it's the same as textinput.text. So I'm going to grab whatever text is in the text property of TXT input, and I'm going to store it in there. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy and paste this. I'm just going to make a point here and show you that if I take, if I take whatever's in str input box and chuck it into output text, or str text box and chuck it into output text, it's just going to overwrite it. So let's have a look at what I mean. So I'm going to put my last name in there. I'm going to put in my first name there, and notice only my last name shows up. Well, why is this? Because technically what happens, doesn't matter what I put in there, although I could actually overwrite it this way. As you can see, whatever's in here is left in there. Okay, and why is that? Because what happens is this gets put into the text property of LBL output, and then this immediately overwrites it when I put it in there. So it just disappears. Alright, but what you can do is you can actually put them in together using the ampersand. And what the ampersand is the ampersand is for concatenation. And basically all that means is it adds them together. It crushes them together and puts them all into one string. So now what happens is when I click on go, it takes whatever's in the first one, chucks it in there in the input box, and whatever's from the text box, and chucks it in there together. So you'll see it's all crushed together as one. Now, oh, that doesn't look right, does it? What I can do is I can actually put a space in between them, and now watch what happens. And now there's a little space in there. So what this does is that actually crushes whatever's in there with that space and whatever's in there, and crushes them all together and puts them out in there. So have a play with that. Download the next exercise and get into that. See if you can figure out how to get and store input as a string.